Real life street stars. You know what time it is.
All right, Jack. Well, I say, let's just dive right in. We have these conversations in which you've created something, especially within the world of real life productions, real life street stars.
Ain't I though? Ain't I though?
I'm telling you, to where people wanted to see a lot of this stuff through, and we wanted to let the dust settle a little bit before we actually tap in with you and speak about the last 3 to 4 months.
I don't think
Um,
we've let it settle enough.
right, right. It's still particles in the air. Boy, I tell you.
Oh no, no,
Um,
no, not particles. There is whole sandstorms happening. There's whole dust storms happening. There's a lot of stuff going on. And it's funny because I hate being right, but
no,
as usual, I'm right.
you have inside knowledge. Um,
Well, I want to put it this way. Let's start right here because I already know like there's probably 80 million questions. And the truth is I haven't been very talkative. There really hasn't been much for me to say. I've just been watching to see exactly how right I was going to be. And more importantly, who was going to play into exactly what I thought they were going to play into. And I wish I could have been more surprised. But from the second that I did Pierce Morgan right after Diddy got arrested, I said some things. And ain't it everything happened just like I said.
it's interesting.
But
And
I said
yes,
some things last year on the couch. And I think a lot of people keep forgetting about what I say. I think people are so busy trying to disprove the reality of the things that I say and me that they tend to miss the things that I've actually said. I said, where do you go when the industry screws you over? Where do you go? Who do you go to? Y'all ask, why don't people come forward? Why don't people? I'm like, who do you go to? You
yeah,
can't go to the boss because the boss is screwing you. And the
yeah,
boss's boss don't care.
yeah.
You could go to the authorities, but they're all bought and paid for. And even if you get lucky enough to find a special prosecutor, somebody can just come along and have that person reassigned. Who do you go to? That's what I said, didn't I? Right on this couch.
That is. So, and we're gonna touch on all that because
I
this is
think
gonna
we
be a
could touch
slow.
on it real quick and just
Yeah,
get past it. Because there's so many things I'm sure we need to discuss. Let's just have a little Q&A.
let's go.
Was Cassie only Diddy's girlfriend or did she start off as an employee?
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
She started off as an employee.
It's the way
She was
her.
supposed to have been going over to Columbia Records with Ryan Leslie. And then somehow that whole thing turned into her getting signed to Diddy on a 10 album deal. If anybody bothers to remember, she made it very clear he had been at her since she was like 18, 19 years old. It didn't become so called official until her 21st birthday, and she was already signed.
Mm.
Matter of fact, if I'm correct, I believe that's the night that Britney Spears was there at that party as well. And they said that she was seen left with Diddy, you know, half out of her gourd. And Diddy was joking about what he had done with her.
Yeah.
But I guess, we want to skip over all of that. So she started out as an employee. Um, all of the beatings, because there were more than the beatings that we saw on that tape. Which, by the way, I also sat here on this couch and said he was beating that girl. He was raping that girl. He put the boots to that girl and dared her to say anything. And you said, why would he do that? Because I said, because he thinks he's God. Now, we all saw that tape come out on my birthday, May 17th, 2024. And even though that was the first time I had seen that tape, it sounds like I described exactly what he was doing to that girl on that tape without me seeing it. How could that be possible? How could I be that right? How could I guess that good?
How did you know, Jack?
Once again, everyone knew. Everyone knew. Just like the witness who came forward, who was too afraid when the grand jury came forth and they wanted her to testify. And she decided she was going to fall back, hoping that the government had enough from all of the raids because they should have been able to make the case stick with everything that we know that they found during those raids. They had more than enough evidence. Funny how none of it made it to court. Just a bunch of weirdo tapes of Cassie and that Jane girl and 50 Cent's very um unfortunate baby mama. It's funny because I think I also remember talking about Daphne
Mm.
with y'all before, and I expressed that maybe the reason why Curtis had a problem was because he didn't realize she was a Diddy doo-wop bop before him.
Yep, you said that.
And maybe she might have brought some things to him that he didn't like. I'm sorry. How many different testimonies did we hear of all of the different VD that was passed between Diddy and his so-called parties that only happened with him and his little weirdo girlfriends or whatever? How many? I mean, Cassie is literally being sued by a sex worker right now for transmission of these things.
What are your thoughts on Clayton Howard?
I think he's a nigga. And I think somebody paid him to do everything that he's doing right now. Because I'm going to tell you something. And let's just be very clear. They keep trying to paint all of this weirdo stuff without literally putting the sodomite title on the diddler. But no straight man allows that much beefcake all up in his face and wants stuff rubbed all over him. And that's just, it's not possible. It's not real. And male sex workers, I mean, I would know. I dated a few when I was younger, when I was in the life. I used to think that, me and my girlfriends, we all dated male exotic dancers at one time, sponsoring bachelor parties, dominatrix works, phone sex lines, yada, yada, yada. You tend to sometimes date in your field. And for a while there, you feel a little special. He doesn't, everything he does with everyone else, it's for money, but he's just with you. He's with you, right? And there's no money exchange, so that makes us special. Not at all. Not at all.
Hold on, Jack.
But
Doesn't it make
when,
sense though?
no, it
Well,
really doesn't make sense, especially when you see your so-called straight boyfriend now doing gay parties and saying that's only for money
Wow.
and letting men go down on him for extra, but it's only for money.
allegedly,
Okay.
his attorney told the world basically like, yes, Diddy is a swinger. He can't just go out into a swinging party. He may have to hire people to come into his world to do those swingish
A
things.
swingers party with as many different people as he had at those parties. And understand this, these sessions that he's talking about swinging, there were multiple men. It wasn't just one-on-one action. And I don't know why they're all lying about it. Like they're all lying through their caps. And anybody who doesn't want to see that, well, then that's just on them. But I'm going to tell you something right now. If he really wanted to sue Cassie because he was upset about a baby deletion and all the diseases that she gave him and all of the terrible things that she did to him, why did he have to wait for her to sue Diddy?
Well, I think he waited for the testimony. Cassie opened that
No,
door.
no, 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 no. If he was so, he said he had always intended to go after her. He had planned on coming after her, and it was Tyrone Blackburn that stopped him.
I mean, $30 million changes a lot.
$30 million changes a lot. Come on now. You got VD and all of that, but you had to wait for her to get some money in order for you to want to come forward. That doesn't make any sense, especially when you're a money grubbing little hoe like him. And he is a money grubbing little hoe. He's enjoying his press tour, talking about how he might not be the best looking, but he was the best in bed. How would she know, as high as she was?
He said
Really?
they had an 8 year run, like 8 years.
Yeah. And in those 8 years, he didn't mind getting burned and coming back. Like, let's think about that. 8 years. So the VD didn't happen until at the end of the 8 years? No, I truly doubt that.
Maybe he had feelings for her.
Feelings? Feelings. I mean, erections definitely, but feelings? I think
Yeah.
people are getting real, just like numb in the brain to what all of this is that's going on. You know, just like all of the baby oil celebration, when I guess people are forgetting that it was initially reported by the feds that it was a carrier agent for a pharmaceutical. It wasn't just baby oil. There was pharmaceuticals being carried in the baby oil.
Yeah, they kind of just skipped
G
it.
the G book. Yeah. Yeah, they keep I'm still not understanding that. So the feds lied. There was no pharmaceuticals in the baby oil because that's what was in the baby oil. And then everybody wants to sit there and have a baby oil jokes and oh the woo 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 and the wow 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 and oh it's just the oil, it's just the oil. No, it was covered, it was filled with pharmaceuticals, the kind of stuff that puts people out upon too much application. So if people are running around sitting there talking about more oil, what they're saying is sedate that person more, sedate that person more. But I guess we forgot about all of that because it just sounds cuter, right? Because they were running around having KY parties. Like, come on.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Come
astro.
on. Are we serious about that?
Yeah,
Now all of a sudden, Cassie is the gangster of corn. She was paying for it. She was ordering it. She was doing this. Really, with what money? With whose
Right.
money?